Rebecca Water, and as you can see, once again, she's absent from the committee's deliberations despite repeated invitations. Mr. Gwynn, I haven't forgotten you, but I want to get a couple rounds of questioning in first, but we will get to you. The Chair would now like to move to 5-minute questions from the members, and we'll begin with Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had multiple questions for Ms. Rebecca Water at both hearings now. Unfortunately, she's not here, and since the Secretary of Interior doesn't know anything about the program, being new on the job since April, and I've been there 54 days and apparently know more about her than the whole department. But the deal with Rebecca Water, I mean, I would ask her if she was here right now, that that's the problem with federal agencies, is that we have environmentalists and animal rights activists that have infiltrated either USDA or the EPA or the Department of Interior, and they are promulgating the rules and regulations, they're enforcing the rules and regulation, and they're bypassing Congress to try to form one branch of government, which is absolutely unacceptable. Senator Ervin, being that 55 days ago I was serving at the state level as well, you basically said something that I totally agree with. And numerous times the people in the District of Columbia need to be reminded that the federal government didn't create the states created the federal government. Mr. King, I want to ask you to go to Washington, D.C. with me to share your testimony to a lot of folks, and I will be sharing your written testimony to a lot of members on the Natural Resources Committee and other, because you hit it right on. And I do want to ask you, I know that being president of the Voice of the Ozarks, you've been very involved with fighting back on the Ozark National Scenic Ways General Management Plans fights in the past. Have you been consulted by any means about your opinions on the proposed management plan that hasn't been proposed yet by the Department of Interior?
No, we have no idea what their general management plan is. It's been since 2009 that they've told us that it's going to be put out, but it hadn't been put out for 4 years. The last thing I heard from them was, well, on June 30th, it'll absolutely be out. It's not out.
And Voice of the Ozarks, it's probably one of the largest property rights organization in southern Missouri. Would that be a fair statement?
I don't know about that. We've got several hundred members. There may be groups that are larger.
It definitely would, I would say, be a pretty significant one right in the heart of Shannon County.
Yes, it would. And Carter and Reynolds and the surrounding county. We're very poor in this area, and we need all the tourism and timber industry that we can get to keep our economies going. The Park Service doesn't really care about our economy. All they have 200, between the Park Service and the Department of Conservation, they have 200,000 acres in my county alone. They pay no taxes on that land. We need the revenue. We need them to sell some of that land to some private individuals.
Mr. Cox, what would happen in Carter County, that's your home in Van Buren now, what would happen if the floating industry was eliminated by a general management plan closing all the access points along the river?
It would shrivel and die. There'd still be a few people there. There would be a logging industry because you can't take everything away. If they restricted the grazing and livestock because they couldn't get the water, the farms would die.
Exactly. You know, I like to say I was raised up on the very northern portion of the current river, so take great pride in that river, and being just a few miles from the original Smith homestead in Shannon County. But it's the lifeblood of the region on the western side of the 8th Congressional District, and the fact that a possible proposed general management plan is coming forward in the next month or 2 months or 3 months, and that we haven't had the public hearings to talk about it. To me, it sounds like the Blueways proposal all over again, which is pretty alarming. I want to ask all these members, have any of you Were you questioned? Did you attend any comment period in regards to the Blueway proposal? Did you know anything about it?
Never. Personally, I was never contacted, never heard anything from the Department of Interior myself.
Nor have I. It's been the same with me. I haven't heard anything from them.
And you both represent 35,000 people, roughly?
That's correct, yes.
And you represent Ms. Irvin, 86,000 people?
Correct. I was not included in any discussions. There was no public comment period. I found out through constituents and county judges that were asking me help. I need help.
Well, you know, that's the problem, where people say that the Blueways proposal does not bring any new regulations, and it doesn't affect, and it's voluntary, and it's open. That's Obama, you know. Or the NSA. But the one point I want to make real quick is that this program has been sold as being open, voluntary, and it's been everything but that. And we see that because the department won't even stand before my constituents in the 8th Congressional District by sending someone to answer questions. And I find that unacceptable, President Obama and the Secretary of Interior.
Mr. Long of Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you yielding the time. And I think Jason was right about Obama. And I do want to thank the witnesses once again for testifying here today. You've kind of killed my thunder. I've got all my questions here on my iPad, and you all pretty well went over about everything that I had to question you about. And one of the main things was what kind of notification did you have and what the problems you saw coming down the river, so to speak, with this initiative. And you pretty well covered all that, but one of the witnesses that I didn't really understand exactly what she said, I'd like to go to now, and that would be Rebecca Water. Miss Water, I'd like to ask you, number one, Ms. Water, that how states can opt out of the Blueways program. If you could elaborate on that, I'd appreciate it, because most people in the 7th and 8th District and all through Arkansas would like to opt out in the future. Could you explain that? Could we get her microphone turned up? Well,